This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone. So now we'll start. It's already 9:05 and yeah, we have good number of participants as well. Okay. So the today's topic or today lecture will be on Docker. Okay. So like for the test engineers, especially for automation test engineers, actually Docker is mainly part of a DevOps process, correct? It is a one of tool in DevOps where they use this tool to create different containers so that your test can be done, or in fact the application can be done on different types of configuration. Okay, but if you go for any interview, so you may not need to implement Docker actually, but they expect that you should have some knowledge, at least what is container, how to create it, how to start it, or how to close it, something like that, right? Closing and creating apps. Okay, so at least with the basic knowledge of Docker is must for the automation test engineers. Okay, so keeping that in mind, today Amuthan Sakthivel will present one basic knowledge on Docker, and he will give you well demo on it, so that at least you will have basic idea of it, and you can implement the same thing in your project locally, and you can also prepare for the interview as well. Because if you say that you have Docker experience, so 100% it will add extra weightage to your resume. Okay, so in fact not only Docker, if you have some good experience on Git, okay, then you have some Kubernetes, right? So basic knowledge of these tools will also add good advantage. So there's no need to learn everything in that, but whatever you can learn for the testing perspective, like running your skills for different types of configurations, right? Like generally we do, like if you see that, like suppose I want to run a Windows 8 or Windows 10 or Linux or Mac, right? So it is not possible to have everything physical, right? So this purpose, the Docker actually comes in picture. Okay, so let's learn everything from Amuthan. He will explain well. So at least I hope that this will give a better idea for the interview perspective and as well as for learning. Okay, so let's welcome Amuthan. He will start now sharing screen and he will take the session. Okay, fine. So Amuthan, I am making a
Thank you,
presentation.
Amut. Thank you, Amut. Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Can you
Yeah.
please you
Uh,
can
I can share the screen now.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Thank you. I hope you can all see my screen. Yeah. Uh, Amut, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, yes, we can see. We can see.
Thank you,
Please
guys.
go ahead.
So, uh, hope everyone is doing good, being safe in this COVID situation. Like Amod told, if you want to stand out in front of so many competitors in the market, yeah, as a test automation engineer, there are Docker is going to be the something that's going to be a necessity now. Previously people expect test automation engineers to know Selenium and Java, and then the expectation changed. They also expected at least rest assured or APM along with them, and now it's entirely into the DevOps. So you must need to know a Docker. So yeah, so I'll try to cover not only the basics but also a little depth in knowledge. If you have any doubts, you can feel free to stop me and ask your doubts. Yeah, let's get into the session. Yeah. So why Docker? So what's the need for Docker in test automation? That's very important question that we all have in our face, right? So there are something. Suppose if you have ever faced an issue that your scripts are working fine in your machine, but it's not working in some like the remote machine, or you have it's not running properly in your team member machine. Yeah. So when you face these kind of issues, right? So Docker helps you to eliminate all the external dependencies. Yeah,
Uh,
Docker is
uh, Sorry to interrupt. I think there is some disturbance in the background. Looks like I'm the only one, or everybody else is airing that background noise.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe
even
Yeah,
me.
even I am
fan is
facing. Yeah.
on.
Just a
I'm
minute,
also.
guys. Just
Uh,
yeah, just a minute. Yeah. I- Is it okay now?
Yeah,
yes,
it's better.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys. So, so also, have you ever faced an issue that your script is working fine yesterday and today, overnight your Chrome gets updated, some of the scripts were not running fine, these kind of issues. Suppose if you have, the need to test your application in different Chrome versions, 80, 81, 82, 83, all the application, you cannot have, an app, all of these version in your local machine, or if you want to install in all of these in your machine, it's not practically possible, right? So you spend, extra cost on building an infrastructure like remote machine or cloud infrastructure, to host them, or you need to buy some cloud infrastructures like Sauce Labs, C-Test, or Browser Stack to run your test. Yeah, it all costs you heavily, right? So Docker is a one-stop solution for all these things, right? So it will help you to eliminate all the configuration issues. You don't have to set the Java path. No, these kind of things. Yeah, you don't have to do all these things. And one more thing, in test automation, we always use parallel testing. Yeah, we will run our tests in parallel. Suppose if we want to run some 10 test cases in parallel, right? So it all depends upon your local machine configurations, right? So if you have a 4 GB of RAM and you try to run 15 tests in parallel, that's not going to work out. Yeah, because your hardware is having some limitations that only will help you to run, 2 or 3 tests in parallel. It cannot handle more, right? So this Docker is going to be solution for all these problems, right? So if someone is going to ask you why you need a Docker in TA, these are some of the reasons. There are plenty of other reasons as well, but these are all very important reasons, right? So we're gonna quickly cover all these things. I'm not gonna bore you so much with the slides. Okay, we'll quickly get into other topics. But before that, we'll see what is this. Yeah. So first, we need to understand what is virtualization before understanding what is containerization. So virtualization. Okay. So if you see the diagram here, so if you have this infrastructure, right? This is a physical laptop, but it can be a, the server, or it can be a cloud infrastructure, right? Even you have a hypervisor on top of it, right? So you might have worked with virtual machines, right? You take remote desktop and then you work on client machine, right? Normally, so you might be aware of what is virtualization, but yeah, so you have a hypervisor on top of your physical infrastructure, and you can build a different machine on top of it, right? So suppose if my machine is now a Windows, 16 GB machine, right? I want to build a Linux machine on top of it. Yeah, using the inbuilt hypervisor, I can build a Linux machine on top of it, right? And I can have a different operating system sitting on top of my local operating system. So this is the virtualization. Many of you might have already known about this. So it helps you to eliminate a need for extra hardware. Suppose I want to do my test in Linux and as well as Windows machine and Mac machine. So I cannot have three different machines. Instead, I have one Windows machine using hypervisor. I build two different machines on top of it. I install the OS in them, using you can use some VirtualBox or VMware softwares to build virtual machines, right? So this is the advantage of virtual machines. Yeah. So yeah, this is advantages. Multiple operating system can run on the same machine. Yeah. And you spend very less for the infrastructure, because there is only one infrastructure and the maintenance is going to be very easy, right? What are the disadvantages, right? Hypervisors are not as efficient as host operating systems. Yeah. So if you have a different machine, suppose you have a Linux and Windows machine, as a separate machines, yeah, it's gonna perform very well. But if you build on top of a hypervisor, yeah, it will work, but it's not going to be as efficient as your host operating system. And So because of the guest OS running on top of the, which will have its own kernel and set of libraries and dependencies. So what does that mean? Suppose if I have a Windows machine, I am building a Linux machine on top of it using hypervisor. This Linux machine by default will need its own kernel, will need its own OS. We need to put a separate OS. It will occupy some space, right? So those are those are overheads for us, right? So and the boot up process is long. It takes time, and if you want, suppose we allocate some space for a different machine, okay, uh, even if you don't use them, okay, you still need to, the resource is still there. You cannot again get it back if it is not, you are not using them. So that's the disadvantages. And we are getting into Docker now. So what are containers, right? So if you see the diagram now, it's very different. So we have an infrastructure, which is your laptop or a bare metal server or a cloud infrastructure, and you have your operating system on top of it. You have something called as container engine. So previously we have hypervisors, now we have a container engine. This container engines are nothing but Docker, or there is other stuffs like Docker, Rocket is there. So there are other container engines as well, but Docker is quite popular now. So we'll be only seeing about Docker. So using this Docker, okay, you can build containers on top of it. So whatever you see in green, the whole green is one container, and whole orange is one container, and the other one is another container. So if you see, there is a difference. There is no host OS here. So this containers will use your local OS, right? So this bins and libs are very small in size, guys. So if you want to run a container, it will just need some very small amount of bins and libraries, some Linux libraries to run your containers. Yeah. So containers are a method of operating system virtualization. Because we are not having a new OS now, we are going to use the infrastructure OS. Yeah. So even your containers can run on top of VMs, right? So you have your physical infrastructure, then you have your hypervisor, and then you can build your VM. In the VM, you can still install a Docker, and then you can run your containers there. Yeah, containers can also run on top of the VMs, right? So there is no guest OS involved, so there is no overheads now, and you will only share all the relevant libraries and resources only when we need. Okay, you don't allocate them before itself, right? It's lightweight and it's very faster, guys. So, and this is the very, the diagram which is going to give you a clear idea. So we in the left, sorry, the left, you see the infrastructure. On top of it, you have a host operating system. So hypervisor, on top of hypervisor, using that we can build different VMs. In the right, we have an infrastructure, but we have a Docker engine, okay, which helps us to manage all these containers. So Docker is going to basically help us in managing all the containers, right? So yeah, so this is the things. So Docker is predominantly used by developers, for developing the application, shipping them, and running them. It will help you to eliminate all the dependencies, and most of the companies, not most, almost all of the companies started using Docker now. So it helps you to build and ship your application very faster than before. Yeah. So so this is the Docker. So this is going to be an alternative to VMs. So if someone is asking you what is a container, okay, you can imagine. So containers are something like another laptop. Okay, no, another. It's not exactly the same, but you can imagine like that. It's another laptop with no communication to the external world. It is an isolated. It gonna help you to in test automation. It's gonna help you to run your test cases there. Yeah. So so a Docker image is built using a Docker file. So there is a new term now, Docker image. So you can imagine a Docker image like a software, right? So if suppose I have a Chrome software in my local machine. So if I have to use Chrome, I need to download the Chrome software, install it, and then use it, right? So the same way, if you want to use some software in Docker, then you need to the software is available in the form of images in Docker world. So in Docker world, you can treat an image like a software in our world. Okay, so yeah, so this softwares can be built using a Docker file. So we're gonna not see how to create Docker, images and all, but yeah, but you need to understand that using a Docker file we can create a Docker image. Yeah. So, and what is Docker container, right? So suppose Docker container, you can tell it's an instance of a Docker image. When you run an image, it becomes a container, right? So you have a Chrome image and you run it, it becomes a Chrome container, and it'll help you to run your automation tests. Yeah. So guys, these are all very basics. Even if you don't know, there are many people that don't know this. I'm just trying to cover it. Even if you don't understand, it's okay. You can still continue to follow my lecture. Yeah. At the end you will get a clear idea, what are all these things. Yeah. So Docker is actually, it's working with a, client server architecture. So we will be typing some commands from our command prompt. Yeah, it's going to act like a Docker client. It will interact with a, Docker engine or a Docker daemon. Okay, this Docker daemon, okay, it will interact with different containers, and it will give you back the results, right? So you can imagine, if you know APM, so how APM interacts with your test. Yeah, that's how it is. So you send the commands to the Docker daemon through your command prompt, and this Docker daemon interacts with the container and send you back the results. Yeah. How this two, client and daemon, are interacting? Yeah, they are interacting over a REST API. Okay, what are the commands we are typing, it will be it will construct a REST API internally, and then they will communicate over a Unix sockets. Again, these are all very very basics, and even if you don't understand any of this, it's okay, guys. So maybe after some time, when you know the basics, and then you can come back and revisit all these things. Yeah. So this is how it looks. So we have a client, okay, Docker client. It interacts through the Docker daemon using a REST API. Yeah. And this Docker daemon, it is a heart for a Docker daemon or a engine. It's going to act like a heart. Okay, it will control all of your, it will control your network, it will control the images, it will control the container, and it will also manage the volumes, right? So you tell some command, Docker build, Docker pull, Docker run. Okay, it will interact with your Docker daemon. So if you see, it will interact with your Docker daemon. And this Docker daemon, so I know, it will interact with your images, and it will create some container. So using an image, okay, using a Chrome image, you can create multiple Chrome containers, right? So with a single image, you can create multiple containers. Yeah. So if the image is not, um, not present locally, it will try to pull it from your Docker hub. So suppose, you can imagine our Maven central repository. You're typing your Maven project. If you're using a Maven project, what you do, you type all the dependencies. If the dependencies are not present in your local, it will pull it from the central repo, right? So this is the registry. So we call it as registry in Docker world. These repos are called registries in Docker world, and then it will pull and it will use it. So yeah. So there are people that they don't even understand there are different containers. Okay, there are Windows containers and Linux containers. Windows containers were not used much. Only the Linux containers are used. Windows, because Windows is larger in size, and even Microsoft may stop development in that. So if someone is asking you if there are many containers, okay, there are two different containers, Windows and Linux. There is no Mac containers. Yeah. And you can also have multiple Docker engines running. You can control them, but uh, Docker Swarm is previously used to control multiple Docker engines, but Docker Swarm development is now stopped. Even they are telling, please use Kubernetes or Apache Mesos if you want to use multiple Docker engines. Again, this is out of scope for test automation. I just want to give you these things are still existing in the world. Yeah. So you might, yeah. So we are done with our boring uh, slides. Now we will get into real things. So before that, I'll quickly walk you through how to install the Docker system. So if you how to install Docker, so you'll be taken to official Docker sites. Yeah, you can install, guys. So you see, install Docker desktop for Windows Home, and you can download from Docker Hub. You can click on this. So based on your, the operating system, you can get it. So if you're using a Windows, you can just get the Docker. So it's very very simple, guys. So you have a stable version and the edge version. Always go for the stable version. For Mac, you always have documentation here, so you can download the Mac one as well. Yeah, the installation is going to be very simple, so you can just follow the some tutorials and you can get into it. Yeah, so yeah, we'll get into Docker now. So yeah, so we'll start with some basic commands. Okay, so all the Docker commands in the Docker will always start with Docker. So this will let you know. So suppose if you want to verify before going into that, if you want to verify whether you have installed Docker successfully, you can type Docker. Yeah, and you'll get a response back. Yeah, it's telling there are different commands here. Yeah, it means Docker is already installed in your machine before confirming. Yeah, so all the Docker commands again will start with Docker. And see, there are different commands. These are all the different commands, right? So you can all go through them. So now what I want to do, there are different images available in Docker Hub. So guys, if you go to Docker Hub. Okay, Docker Hub, you can sign up, guys. I already signed up, so I have logged in with my profile. So you can go here and you can search for Selenium Hub. Yeah, so this is a image, right? Suppose if you want to build a Selenium Hub, you can use this images. See, it's been developed by Selenium guys. Okay, so these are all the different version. Tags means version. Yeah, we will come to that later. And Docker file, this is the file they have used. I told, right, you need a Docker file to build an image. Yeah, to build this image, build this software, they used this Docker file. Yeah, so from this, the label author. Yeah, we don't have to know everything about it, but this Docker file is used to build this image, right? So let's quickly get into a hello world, which we always do. We'll start with the hello world, right? So I'm searching for, is there is any hello world images that I can use to test. Yeah, see, it's an hello world program. Yeah, it's a hello world image, and it's an official image given by Docker guys. So if it has 10 million plus downloads and 1200 stars, right? So let me click this and go inside, and what it's telling, see, copy and paste to pull this image. Now this image is not located in my local. Suppose if I want to use this, they are telling copy this and write it in your uh, command prompt, right? So I'm telling Docker. So to check whether this image is already available, so in my machine already, so I'm doing Docker images. So this is the command that is used to list all the images that's already existing in my system. So Docker images. So I have a bunch of images already, guys. So ignore it. For you, it will not give you any response back. It will be empty. So I have already all the images downloaded for my other purposes. So it's listing me all this. But if you see, this is the image names. So the first column here, I cannot able to highlight that alone. So this is the tag is a kind of version. So suppose if you have a release, you tell it 1.2 1.3, right? So this it's kind of version. Suppose if you see this SonarQube, it has 6.7.1. That's a tag it has. And latest is just a string. Okay, it doesn't mean it is the latest version. Okay, you can name a older version as latest as well. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So latest is just a string, guys. They may ask you in an interview, okay, what does this latest tag means? So it means it's just a string. It represents a version. Yeah, so it doesn't mean it is the latest version. You need to be aware of it. Yeah, and this is the image ID. So it's how the Docker engine understand what is the image. Okay, so it understands a particular image using its ID, right? So it's being created 4 weeks ago, and the size of the MBC. So one important thing that I missed to highlight is, if you compare a real world and a Docker world, the images are very very small, guys. Suppose if you see a Chrome image, it's gonna be very very small in size when you compare it to a real world, right? Uh, so that's the pretty much a very good advantage of using a Docker. So this busybox is just a Linux image. So it's just 1.22 MB. So there are images for even 13 KB. So I already have this stock. And if you want to create a container from an image, so you need to type docker run, and then you use the image name. Yeah, I'm using busybox image, so I can type busybox. It means it will create a container using this particular image. So yeah, so if you see, so to see whether this container is there or not, okay, I'm typing docker ps means process state, guys. So I'm typing docker ps, and if you see, there is no container now, right? So where this the container that we have spin up a container, but it's not there. So what I can do to check all the containers, right now, I can type docker ps hyphen a. It means it will list me all the containers even if it is in the exited state, right? So I'm typing docker ps hyphen a. So if you see, guys, so there is a busybox container that's been created 36 seconds ago and exited 34 seconds ago. So this is the container that we created, but they have designed this image in such a way that if you don't attach your cell, so I will come to this entry point. This is called the entry point. Suppose if you don't give attach the shell, then they have designed in such a way to create the container and then exit the. So it has created 36 seconds ago and exited 34 seconds ago. So it was up and running for only 2 seconds, right? And the name of the container is suspicious sapling something. Yeah. So it will name the container randomly. If you are not naming your container, it will name your container randomly with this kind of thing: admiring Bardin, amazing Archimedes. So it will give some weird names to it. Yeah. So that's the thing. So what I can do now, so I will attach the shell to it so that I can see it up and running, right? So this time, so I want to stop and remove this container. So basically you can directly use docker rm, but it will forcefully kill your container. So what you can do, you can gracefully kill your container using docker stop command. Okay, I'm using docker stop. Yeah. So it's been stopped. Suppose I want to remove this container now, so I don't even want this. Yeah. So I can do docker rm. Yeah. So this container, so if it's printing you the container id back, so this is called as a container id, guys. So if it's printing you that back, it means it's been removed successfully. To check it again, so I can type docker ps hyphen a. This time I don't see a container id with 8 D, all those things. Yeah. Suppose if you want to kill multiple, containers at the same time, you can use, you can give some space and you can add multiple container IDs. And you can also stop and remove a container, not only with the IDs, also you can use their names. Suppose I want to remove this particular container, I can use docker rm, not only the container ID, I can also copy the name and give the name of the container. So it's always a very good practice to name a container, right? So see docker rm admiring body. So it's been removed now. Suppose if I want to check it again, docker ps hyphen a. So if you see, there is no admiring body anymore. So it's been removed, right? Suppose if you want to create if you want to remove multiple uh, container IDs, you can give a space and give the another container ID so that it also gets removed. I'm doing a clear screen now. So now we'll again get back to the busy box thing that we are doing. So docker run hyphen ti. So this is a new parameter that we are passing now. So what we are telling, hyphen t, it means we are attaching our output. So container is having a command prompt, guys. So we are attaching the output, and I means the input. Whatever the input we are telling, we can tell to it using the command. So we're telling, we are attaching both the input and the output, right? So and then I am creating a container for busybox. Okay. And this time I'm not gonna make the Docker to create its own name. I want to name it myself. So I can type docker hyphen name, give a space and give space whatever you and the name whatever you want. Suppose I give Rajni, right? So you are naming. So to understand the whole command, so Docker is basically all the Docker commands will start with Docker run. Run is the command used to spin up your containers, right? So hyphen ti, which means you are attaching your standard input and output to the container. Hyphen name means you are naming your containers as Rajni using the image busybox, right? So you are creating a container using the image busybox. So this time it has see it's telling me root directory. It's in the root directory. So now we are actually inside the uh, command prompt of the container. So we can write some commands now to check whether we are actually it's working. So date. So date is a Linux command, guys. So if you tell date, it'll give you the current date, right? So also you can do ls. It means it will list you all the current the folder structure in the current directory, right? So this is actually working. Now I'm doing a control P and control Q to come out of the container. Now I'm checking Docker PS. It will only list me all the running containers. See, now the container is up and running, guys. So see the shell command, which means it will by default attach you to the cell. If you're not giving this command, it doesn't know what to do. So it will spin up and spin down automatically. So if you're attaching your input and or output or both, okay, it knows that you want to do some operation to it, yeah, and then you can do whatever the operation you want. So if you see created 42 seconds ago and it was still up now, and the name of it is Rajini now. So if I want to stop it or remove it, I can use the name instead of the ID, right? So I'm doing that now. uh, yeah, so I don't want it anymore, so I'm removing it as well. So let me quickly see what else I want to. I have covered spinning up a container, naming a container we have already covered, remove a container we have covered, and how to remove a container automatically after exit. So see, if you see, we are creating a container, okay, that's fine. Then what is telling? See, we are stopping it and then we are removing it. It's like so much of process we are doing, right? So is there any way to automatically remove the container whenever I'm doing a stop? Yeah. So what I'm gonna do, Docker run the same example, and this time I'm not gonna attach anything to it. So hyphen name, okay, I'm renaming it as Rajini again and using the image busybox. The same command, I'm just adding one new parameter, hyphen rm. Hyphen rm, yeah. So I think it's hyphen rm. Okay. So let's check. Yeah. Docker and hyphen rm. It means remove the container once it went to the exit state. Yeah. Once it is stopped, please remove it automatically. You don't have to wait for my call. Yeah. So we see. Yeah. So let's go quickly check Docker PS. Anyway, it will not be there. So it's already stopped. I am telling Docker PS hyphen a. There is no Rajini now, guys. So it's been removed automatically just because we use the command called hyphen or. Yeah, and if you see, I told you there is something called as entry point, right? So but is there any way that I have to alter it? I want to override the default entry point. So is there any way to do that? Yeah, so we also have a way to do this. So for busybox we have a default command called default entry point called shell. What I'm going to do, so I'm going to override them now. So Docker, so let's do something very interesting now. So Docker run hyphen rm and hyphen ti. I'm attaching the standard input and output to the container, and this time let me override the entry point, right? So entry point This time I want to, whenever I'm opening the, whenever I'm spinning up the container, I also want it to run the command date. Okay, I want to do it like, I want to execute the command date in the command prompt and then exit. So if you go here now, let me name it as something so that I can uh, check whether it is working. So again, I'm going to name it Rajini. So entry point date using the image bc box. So if you can understand this whole command, guys, it's you were like becoming an expert in Docker. Yeah. So let me quickly run it. See, it executed the date command automatically. Previously it only took me to the shell. Now it's, we are overriding it and we have went inside container, we executed the date command. Okay, we executed the date command, and we also removing the container automatically. If you are not using it, the container will be in the stopped state, but there is no Rajini now, so it's been removed automatically because we used rm command. Yeah, so if you can understand this, yeah, we are pretty much good now. And removing an image, we already see you need to use rmi and then the image name. Yeah, that's good. Now I have to explain you about this, what is this docker run. And then this is a standard docker run command, guys. But when I see, whenever I'm typing docker run alpine, I'm running like this, or I'm running docker run bc box, it means, so I'm missing so many commands here. And if you see, this is the exact, full command for this. So if you have your own repository, so these are all not mandatory. Whatever is there in this greater than and less than thing, it's not mandatory, so you can ignore them. So if you are ignoring it, by default it has some values. Okay, so you need to understand what are those values. So by default, this repository host and the port will be your dockerhub.com. So that's why if you are not giving anything here, it will try to look for it in the local. If it is not available, it will go and check in the docker. Yeah. um, in the hub.docker.com. Yeah, so the official registry. And so second thing, so there is something, there is a slash and then there is owner author. Okay, even this is also not mandatory, so this is option. So what will be the default value if I am not giving it? So I have not given anything to the busy box. There is, this is the image name, this is the command, this is the docker. So there is no author. So where it is, so it's optional. If you are not giving anything, it means it's docker official image. So if you see, if you go here, it's a part of docker official image. This hello world is a part of docker official image. Even for bc box, you can type just busy box, it's an official image, guys. If you see, it's a official image. And alpine, yeah, it's an official image. So if I also go to selenium hub, okay, I have already explained you, this selenium hub, it's not an official image. There is no official image. It's been developed by the owner called Selenium, and the image name is just hub. So if someone is asking what is the image name, so you don't tell Selenium slash hub is the image name. Yeah, it can be an image name, but the real thing behind it is, the Selenium is the author and the hub is actually the image name, right? So they may ask you in an interview, so what is the image here. Yeah, so you need to tell the default values they may ask you. Yeah, and you are telling image name is not mandatory, so whenever we are typing our command, so we are telling the image name properly. And the tag name, if you're not giving, it will take the latest tag. Again, it's not mean that it's a latest version. It means it's just another string value. Okay, it doesn't mean it's the latest version. Okay, it can be an older version as well. Yeah. So running a container in background. Okay, so this is the again next thing that we're going to see. So if you so what I'm going to do, so I will do, so I have some image called as Selenium hub with me. Okay, I'm trying to run docker run selenium slash hub. It's already existing in my local, so I'm just running it. So if you, so hub is like a listener, guy, so it will go to the listening mode. So if you see, it's printing all these things. Yeah. So what is this? It's telling. So I have hub up and running now. So we have an hub up and running now. So if you go and see it in localhost 4444, what happened? What is happening? I don't know. There is something wrong. Yeah, but we'll come to that later. But so if you see, this has went to the listening mode now. Yeah. So the logs are printing in your in front of you, right? So you cannot use this command prompt again. So you have to open another command prompt to check whether it is up and running. Yes. If you see, there is a Selenium hub that's been up and running, and it's up and running for about a minute now. Suppose I don't want to see this log, okay, I want to run this logs in the background. So in that case, when you are spinning up the container, you can use docker run Selenium hub, and you can also do a -d, guys. Means run it in the background. So I don't want to see it. So it's printing the container ID, and if I have to see what is the logs inside that, okay, you can use docker logs and the container ID. So I don't know the container ID. We didn't named it as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm do docker ps. There is two Selenium hub up and running. So I think this is the container ID. Docker logs. I want to see the logs inside that. So if you see, it's printing the logs. So the logs will be ran in the background. So let me quickly stop and remove these two things. Yeah. Um, so if you have to remove multiple things, yeah, you can give a space and then you can remove all of them. Yeah, it's been removed now. So I will also, it's been stopped now. So I will remove it. Yeah, we have removed them successfully. Yeah, so that's how you also see how to fetch up the logs from the container. So okay, how to set up the Selenium grid, Selenium grid setup in Docker manually. So guys, so we have now seen the basics of the Docker, right? So um I have already covered the entry point, but I haven't covered the network because we are already 1 hour. So I'll quickly cover this. Okay, if I have the time, I can cover the network at the end. Yeah. So if you want to, so our ultimate aim is to create a Selenium grid setup in Docker. Okay, if you guys have already done a Selenium grid setup in your local, it's very difficult, guys. I'm telling you that you need to download the jar file, you need to run some commands in your hub, you need to run some commands in your nodes, and then you need to then everything will work. Yeah, so it's really very difficult to do perform all these things. So what Docker guys have come up with, they have done it, they have done the hard things themselves. So they have given us something very easy to use. So you can spin all of them at once, and then you can spin down all of them at once, right? So this is the command, guys. So if I am just trying to run this command, so I will explain you what is the command, guys. So if you see, Docker run, you already know. -d is to run the logs in the background, and -p is for exposing your port, guys. So let me quickly cover, like, so if you have something called as this is, consider this as a Docker. Okay, so this is your Docker thing, and we also have some containers here. Yeah, we have some containers. Okay, and we have some containers, and it's isolated, guys. We cannot interact with it with if you don't expose any of the ports to contact with it, we cannot able to communicate with them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to export some port from my container, okay, using this port. Okay, I'm going to connect with, I'm linking this to my local host 4444. So when I send my request from my Selenium scripts, to this particular port, it will delegate that particular request to the hub in the Docker. So I am doing a port mapping from my local to the Docker port 4444, so that all the requests that's coming to the local hub, local machine 4444 port, it will navigate. It will delegate it to the container port 4444. Unless you expose your port, you cannot able to communicate with them. So let me quickly, and then what is hyphen hyphen name, hyphen hyphen name. I'm naming it as Selenium hyphen hub, and the Selenium slash hub is the image what I'm using. Yeah, so quickly, yeah, it has created a hub now. Yeah, let me also create a node. Okay, let me, this is the command. So docker run hyphen d is again running in the commands in the background. Link, I'm going to link. So this is the image, guys. Selenium node Chrome is the image. So if you want to execute your test in a Chrome browser, you need to use this image, right? So that's how simple is it. So Selenium is the author, node Chrome is the image name, and I'm going to link it with the Selenium hub, the name of the hub, and it's gonna act like my hub. Yeah, so I'm gonna link the container to that, link this Chrome container to the hub container. Okay, it's gonna look something like this. Okay, suppose consider this guy as your hub. Okay, I now create a Chrome container. Okay, this is Chrome container, and then I will link this guy, okay, to this guy. Okay, so that he can understand, he can listen to what the hub is telling, and he will work whatever the work he is giving. Yeah, so same way I will also create a Firefox container, and I will link it to it. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do now. Yeah, so first we'll quickly do this Selenium hub, Selenium slash no. This time I'm creating a Selenium Chrome container and linking it to the hub. Yeah, let me run it now. So again I got the output. So let's quickly get to know. Yeah, if you see, my local host 4444 is up and running now. If you go to the console, see, I have a particular Chrome. The version of the Chrome is again the image that you have used. I have used some image, and the version is 77. You can pull the different images of the node Chrome, so that you can have different Chrome browsers set up within few seconds, right? So you just need to use a different image. Yeah, and now I also link my Firefox to it. Okay, so linking my Firefox again, guys, copy it, paste it again, the same thing, only thing I'm changing is the uh, image. Okay, Firefox, and guys, this is also done. So let me quickly go here. Okay, refresh this. Yeah, see, it's within fraction of seconds it's up and running. So what I can do now, I can even run my test now, right? It will work. So let me go here. Okay, and I have created a very very simple test, guys. So what this test will do, it has I'm setting up the decide capability and choosing what is the browser that I want to run. And this is the, see, if you see, I'm pointing my request to the 4444 port. It means, so I'm pointing my request to this port 4444. If you have exposed a different port, then you can map it differently. Okay, so I am now exposing my container port 44 to the local port 44. So I am pointing all my test to this particular port. Okay, and then I'm doing a maximize, I'm loading the google.com, I'm printing the title. So for this I'm using a data provider, so that I will run two tests. So one in Chrome, I'm sending Selenium in the Google search box. I'm in another one is Firefox, I'm sending APM. Just a quick thing. Yeah, so let me quickly run this test. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, so if you see, guys, both of them are running in parallel. Okay, Chrome and Firefox both are running in parallel. Okay, I think this execution in Chrome is completed, execution in Firefox too completed. And if you see, Let's see the results. Yeah, so both of them got passed, guys. So we ran two tests and both of them got passed within few seconds. Yeah, so we have not used our local, we are using Selenium grid containers, Chrome and Firefox containers to execute our tests. Yeah, since I have given a attribute parallel equal to true, if you are familiar with Java, so parallel equal to true in a data provider, it will return these two instance, these two iterations, at the same time. If you don't give this, it will execute them one by one. So I am giving two so that I just want to see the execution, both are executed in parallel. So even if you see, I'm executing so many commands, guys. So I'm executing this command, I'm executing this command, I'm executing this command. Is there any way, where I can do everything within a fraction of seconds? So whatever the class I have took 1 hour, right? If you don't, feel comfortable understanding what I have explained, it's okay. Okay, just understand for the next 5 to 10 minutes. It's all most people know whatever I have told before one, for the past 1 hour. Many people don't know about it. So if you don't know any of these, it's okay. Just concentrate for the next 10 minutes. It's what you're going to be using in your day-to-day life. So yeah, so let's get into it. So we have something called as Docker Compose file. Okay, so this is, suppose if we have three containers, it's okay, we can run three commands. Suppose if we have 1,000 containers, imagine a scenario where developers will use different systems. They use SQL, they use Postgres, they use Fortify, they use SonarCube. They have what different application. They have cron jobs, they everything, they have so many things. Yeah, so for all of them they cannot write 100 commands in the Docker, in the Docker client, in the command prompt. So what they will do, they will use a Docker Compose file, guys. So this is what you're going to be using in your day-to-day life. So just make sure that you understand this. If you have any doubts, you can feel free to ask your doubts. Yeah, so this how the Docker Compose file will look. So whatever the things you are putting in hash, it will be a command, so you don't have to worry about it. And what is the, so it'll start with the version. So Docker Compose file version, this is a kind of file, right? YAML file. So version of this Docker Compose file is 3. It means Docker will understand the whatever the things given below it, it's of type, it's from a version 3. Okay, there are older versions 2.11, but we are not using it anymore, so it's just going to be a default statement in your Docker Compose file. And we have services, right? So what is services? You spoke about containers for a long time, you spoke about images for a long time, but you never told me what is a container. Now suddenly you are telling what is a Docker service. Yeah, so service are nothing but your containers and configurations. So we can tell, if someone is asking you, it's not going to be an exact explanation for services, but you can imagine it's your container with all the configurations. Yeah, so that's how you can imagine. So what are the commands we have run so far? Yeah, we ran these three commands. We're gonna put all of them into this particular file. Okay, so we are going to create a service, called a Selenium hub. Okay, this is the name of the service, and we're going to use an image, Selenium slash hub, and colon latest, it means it's the latest tag, Selenium hub. So it will go into the Docker hub, it will search for Selenium slash hub with the latest tag, and it will, if the image is not available in your local, it will pull it automatically. And what container name that we are going to use is Selenium hub hyphen hub. Yeah, this is the name of the container. I always told you, naming a container is a very good approach. If you don't name it, it's okay, but always prefer naming it so that you can stop and remove them easily. And we are exposing the port 4444 to the, so whatever in the left hand side is your local host, local port, and what is in the right hand side is your Docker port, right? So you delegate your request to this port, it will then delegate it to the container port 4444. So we have set up this Selenium hub. So whatever that command we typed before, this whole thing we have now converted into a Docker Compose file format. Yeah, and see, if you see the indentation, see, the indentation is like 4 spaces. Yeah, so the Chrome, so it means it has 3 services. One is Selenium hub, one is Chrome, and one is Firefox. Yeah, and inside if you have another space in 4 spaces inside that, it means these all belongs to this particular Selenium hub, guys. Okay, the indentation is very important, so you need to be very careful. And again, if you see, notice one thing, for these two, for these two I have directly put a colon and use them there, but here I have used a hyphen and then I have given it like this. So there is a reason behind this, guys. I will try to explain you. So if there are multiple things, okay, then you need to use a hyphen. I cannot have two container name, okay, I cannot have two container name, I can have only one container name, right? And then I can spin up a container using only one image. I cannot use multiple image to create a container. That's also not possible. That's why if there is only one item that can be given here, then you can directly give here. If there are possibilities that you can use multiple items, then you need to use it in here. Yeah, use it like this way. So you can also expose your port 45 to 4445, guys. It's also possible. You can expose them, but we don't have any usage for this, so we are not exposing it. But there is a possibility, so we are writing in this particular format. Yeah, and we are spinning up the Chrome now. Now we have covered the first statement that we used. Now we are going to the second statement. Chrome is the service. Image, we are using this particular image. And volumes, yeah, again, volumes is something that's going to be little tricky to understand. I'll come to it later, but we'll cover the remaining things. Yeah, so depends on is something. Suppose, see, when I don't use this depends on, all of these containers will be spinning up in parallel. Okay, so if you see, if you run your Selenium hub, it will take some 5 to 10 seconds to up and running. Before that, if you try to link the Chrome service to this Selenium hub service, it will not work, because the hub itself is not present. You cannot link to something that is not there, right? So it will throw error. That's why I'm telling depends on and then Selenium hub. It means it will wait for the Selenium hub to be up and running, and then uh, it will link that to it. So again, I'm using the hyphen because it can depend on multiple services. So there is a probability that it may also depend on Firefox. Yeah, there may be cases, or it may depend on something else. So if there is a probability of multiple, then you have to use the hyphen. Yeah, and then the environment. Yeah, you are using a hub host. What is my host? This guy is going to be my hub. Yeah, I'm telling the name of it, and I'm going to listen to that guy's 4444. So it will, whatever the request coming here, this guy will listen to it. Okay, if there is a work coming to him, this guy will take care of it. Okay, and then if you see the same thing, it's here. Only thing that's changing is Firefox, and it's also depends on Selenium hub. Everything is same. So now I'll come to volumes. Volumes is something, see, suppose if you're downloading some files, okay, you do Selenium automation, you are running something and you are downloading some files, right? The default download path, okay, in container, they may ask you in an interview, guys, uh, is slash home user and downloads. So this is the path inside your container where all your downloads will get stored. Okay, if you want to get that container in your local, because if it's there in the container, nobody knows it. Yeah, so we need to bring it to the container again. So what I'm telling, bring it to some folder called user slash downloads in my local. So it will not actually transfer all the files from here to here. You can imagine it's transferring, but it's not actually transferring. You can actually see the files from there to here. So if you are doing some downloads, you need to do this volume mapping, guys. They may ask you in an interview, or you may come across this in your testing thing. So make sure that you do the volume mapping properly so that you can access the downloaded files. Yeah, so this is all, guys. So if hope you guys can understand what is Docker Compose file. So you told about all these things, but how to run them? So that's the important question, guys. So if you let me quickly go into the command prompt, and if you check Docker PS, there is already 3 things up and running, right? I need to stop them before doing some operations. So because I'm gonna run spin up new containers with the same images, so I don't want them to be there. So I can go here, quickly remove these 3. So all of them got removed, guys. Yeah, so this is very uh, very important. So now we will get into the thing. So I have this docker compose file in a particular location, so let me quickly go to that particular location. Yeah, so you need to go to that particular location where this file is located, to run this command. Okay, this file is located here, guys. So I am opening a cmd here. Okay, in this particular location, if we do a dir, if you can see there is something called as docker compose yaml file. If the name of the file is docker compose.yaml, then you can directly run them using one simple command, docker hyphen compose. Again, let me quickly go and check that my grid is not ready because I have shut down everything. Let us quickly start them using only one command, guys, docker hyphen compose up. So it's creating a default network. Okay, I'll come to the network if I have time, otherwise we can ignore it. So it has created the Selenium hub. It's creating a Chrome container because we have told them to create a Chrome container as well. Let's quickly go here, and so I think it's ready, but I don't know, for some strange reasons I both are up and running now. I don't know, it's got stuck. Maybe I'll quickly open another command prompt, do a docker ps. Guys, if you do a docker ps, it will list you all the containers that are in running state. You can also use docker hyphen compose ps. It will list you only the containers that are run, that were spinned up using this docker compose file. So you also use this. Okay, I'm not in the particular folder. Maybe I need to go to that particular folder. So I'm typing docker hyphen compose ps because it'll only understand this. See, it has these three containers up and running now. Yeah, so that's cool. Okay, now you can again execute your same test. The thing, it's absolutely gonna work fine. So everything is remaining the same. Okay, run as test ng test. So both of them are now in use. Yeah, script is getting executed. Yeah, Google. Okay, so something is stealing pass and then it's failing, but yeah, but the test has got actually success. And see, I have run my test. I think it's still in execution. It fails, I don't know, for some reasons. But yeah, so if I have to shut down the whole thing, okay, so you don't have to do a docker stuff for all the three containers and then remove them. Instead, you can type docker hyphen compose down. It's all getting stopped automatically, guys. So that's very cool, right? So you tell docker compose hyphen compose up, it will run up, and it will spin up, and if you tell down, it will spin down. So let me quickly cover something that's we have been speaking so much about docker hyphen compose thing. And if you want to create, suppose in your real scenario you want 5 chromes, right? So is there any way that I can spin up 5 chromes in seconds? Okay, let me quickly close all these things. Okay, I want to spin up 5 containers. Okay, 5 Chrome containers, because I have tested to be run on 5 Chrome at the parallelly. Okay, so we have very simple thing. You don't have to do so much of work. First, let me quickly run the whole infrastructure. Okay, we'll go to the listening mode. Let me quickly open another thing. See, it's now, yeah, it's now up and running. And if you notice one thing, see the logs. First, the Selenium hub is up and running. So it's actually waiting. The Chrome is actually waiting for the Selenium hub to be started before trying to link it. Okay, then the Firefox is getting linked. Okay, so that's how it will wait. And now quickly let's go here and cover some. Okay, so I want to spin up more Chrome containers. So if you go here and type localhost. Okay. We have only one Chrome and one Firefox. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use some command called docker-compose scale, and then we have the service called Chrome, right? Chrome equal to 5. It means it will make the number of Chrome available is 5. So we already have 4. Okay, I'm not in the right directory again. So we go here, compose, yeah, scale Chrome equal to 5. We already have one. It will create 4 new. Let's see. Already have one. Trying to create all the remaining things. Yeah, so it has created another one. If you see 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5, yeah, we have 5 Chrome images now available. Suppose if you want to bring it down, yeah, to again it went to listening mode, guys, so I cannot use it again. We have to bring it back to one. Docker, you don't have to scale down and all. It's only scale Chrome, okay, equal to 1. It means it'll make sure there is only one Chrome. So still stopping and reviewing other things. Yeah, still use hyphen scale flag, but we are okay. We are doing it. So let me quickly go here, check how many Chrome. For some strange reasons, I'm not sure. Today it's behaving little erratically. I don't know. I don't know, guys, but it'll make the Chrome number of Chrome available as one. So yeah, we'll quickly, for time being, we will not debug them, but yeah, it should work. So I'll quickly cover something called as Selenium, guys. I take another 15 minutes of your time. Something called as Selenium that might be interesting for you guys. So yeah, if you see, this is an open source, it's a flexible scalable container based Selenium grid with the video recording, live preview, basic auth, and a dashboard. So if you see, our Selenium scripts are executing, but we could not see them as when they are executing. So is there any, we can also attach a VNC viewer, but it's kind of it's not recommended, guys. So better you go for something like a Selenium or Selenoid. These guys have done some extra efforts from their side to give us something very useful. So if you go to their official documents, it's very clear. They are telling to pull these particular two images, okay, and then they are telling to run this particular command and point your test to this uh, particular URL, right? And to stop the Selenium, you can type docker stop Selenium, because they are naming it as Selenium, so you can stop them using this command. Yeah, so I already have these images already available. Okay, let me quickly docker hyphen compose, and let me quickly shut down all these things. Yeah, so if you go here, for there shouldn't be anything up and running. So I will quickly go here. I will type docker images. So I have already these images with me, guys. Suppose if you don't have them, you can pull those images using docker pull, or if you directly run them also, it will pull those images. So I am not going to execute these two commands. Okay, then they are telling this particular command, right? Since this slash is for new line, guys, you don't have to use this slash. You can copy this whole statement one by one and then paste it. So I already have them already in my project. So what I will do, um, sorry guys, quickly copy this whole command, yeah, and paste it. copy, paste it. So let me quickly remove this. Yeah, let me explain this command, guys. So they are telling docker run --rm. Again, you know what is --rm. If you stop the container, it will be removed automatically. And we are also attaching our standard input and output to it. That's why -ti. Name means Selenium. Selenium is the name of the container that we're going to create, and we are exposing the port, container port 4444 to the local port 4444. And we are also mapping some volumes that it need to run. So it will have some live recording, so videos, whatever the execution videos it will have, so it will also have them. So you, for that we it need some volume mapping. So we will also mapping our local host temp videos, yeah, our path in the local with the home cell user videos. This is the path where the recorded videos will be saved. That's how the Selenium guys have designed it. And privileged is like with admin access guys, something like that. Yeah, and dosal Selenium is the image that we use, and we are clicking start the container. Yeah. So when I do, and when I press and enter, you see it's also internally using Selenium grid, but they have done a customization of the Selenium grid. So it's telling, yeah, it's using all the things. It has the capability to link to SaaS lab, browser stack, all those things, but we are not doing it now. So it's telling it's not enabled. So it's okay for now. Let's quickly go to the 4444 port, and if you see, we have something up and running already. So we have two nodes which has Firefox and a Chrome motion, so already been there. So within just one command we have done it. So they have some really cool stuff mentioned in there. So if you go here, so dashboard is a place where you can view all of their execution, right? So whatever the execution happened, it'll be having a video, and you can go and see there. So if you give it to your client or manager, they will be impressed, right? So these are other things, guys. So if you want, you can how to enable the SaaS lab, browser stack, all those things you can go and explore, but I'm not going to cover them. So let's quickly go to the dashboard URL. Dashboard we already seen, and the live preview URL they will have given somewhere. Yeah, so this is the live preview URL, localhost 4444 grid/admin live. So I think I already used this. So let's quickly go here. So now there is no test up and running, so we can view the live previews, guys, here. And let me quickly go to the Selenium, and they also have any dashboard. Okay, let's have the dashboard. Once after the execution, we can see now the dashboard is empty. Okay, now it's empty. So once the execution is completed, all the videos will be here. Okay, and what else we have? I think that's pretty much about it. So you can explore more remaining things by yourself. So let's quickly run the test, guys. So we already have this test already, so let's quickly run this again. This has been pointed to 4444 because we again ran the command to expose our port 4444. Run as test ng test. Let's quickly go, and we are interested in the live preview. Okay, see, there is a Chrome started, it's been ended. The Firefox is started now. It's entering Google, the value is getting entered. Yeah, quickly go to the dashboard. See, we have the test that's been ran, so the videos will be available here for your preview. I think it's not entering that, but so this is the video that's been entered, but I don't know, there is one more video that should come. Yeah, so but see, it is assigning some names randomly. So we didn't pass any test name, so it is selling them randomly. So if you go to that, here they are telling if you want to name your particular test something to look like, and they have some comments here you can explore. So custom more than test, I think it will be somewhere here. I'm not sure. It'll be somewhere here, but the command I already have. So you have to use something like this. You need to set a capability. Zal colon name is the key, and the value you can give whatever the value you want. And if it is remaining idle for 30 seconds, it'll get the container will shut down automatically. And I'm entering a URL, and there is a cookie, guys. This cookie you can use it to point out to some messages. I will show you in the video that when I run them. And if you want to mark the test as a pass or fail, you need to use this cookie new cookie Selenium test passed true. Then only it will mark them as true. If you go here in the dashboard, if you see, it's just blue tick, it means just it just completed, it's not success or not failed, it's not timed out as well. So if you want to make it as a pass, you need to use it. So all those details were in the official thing. So let me quickly run this. Okay, run this particular test. Whatever we ran in the Selenium grid, we are running it now. Sorry, let me go to the live preview. So yeah, Firefox and Chrome both are open. Yeah, it entered Selenium. I don't know, it entered in the same thing. I don't know, for some strange reasons. Quickly shut down. Yeah. So even if you go here, let's now not bother about it and debug too much. I'm waiting for. I think there is some issue with my script. So see, this is the URL opened that message that we have given. It's there. I don't know. It's not shutting up. I think if you see, the name is Firefox APM. Yeah, it got passed. Okay, it got passed. There is some problem with my script, it's entering both of them in the same thing. If you see URL opened, it's all coming, but if you just want to see the name, it's now coming, and we are marking it as a pass. So that's how, guys, that's how you can use it. So if you were using it in your real-time project, so what you can do, whatever the commands you are trying to run in the Docker, in the command prompt, you can convert them in the form of batch files. Suppose if you see, I have docker up.bat. So I'm opening it with the text editor. So docker hyphen compose, yeah, you can use this. Just up command is enough, guys. If you are using different name, then you need use a file name. But if you are using just up command, you can use docker hyphen compose up. It means it will up the whole docker compose file containers, and I'm piping it to some different output text. This is for some other reason. In my code, I will check whether the Selenium grid is up and running, then I will send all my requests. So you can convert them in the form of, um, batch files. Docker hyphen compose down, this is one of the commands that we enter in the command prompt. So I'm converting them in the form of batch files. So in my script, what I will do, okay, so if you see, this is basic in Java, guys. If you are from Java background, you can understand. I'm creating a runtime instance. I know runtime.get runtime. Using that, I'm creating an instance, and you can execute your batch files. So this batch file is located, docker up.bat is located in my folder path. Okay, so you can spin them up. Yeah, and then I'm checking whether the Docker is up and running, because it's taking some time. Suppose if you see, it's taking some time to print all these things and before getting ready. So what I'm doing, I'm, instead of waiting, you can do a thread.sleep for 30 seconds, but what I'm doing, I'm piping all of the logs that's coming to this particular txt file. I'm reading it line by line. When the line is telling node is registered to hub and ready to use, I am then pointing all my requests to that particular port. Same way, if the remote mode is Selenium, the whole Selenium up.bat will be ran. So if you go to the Selenium up.bat, it will have its own uh, Selenium thing. So the command that we use to spin up the Selenium containers will be there. So you can programmatically spin up a container, spin down, spin all the containers, spin them down. So everything can be done within a few seconds, right? So to explain how it works, maybe let me quickly Docker Selenium stop. My Selenium containers are already up and running. Just 2 minutes, guys. I will be done. Mm, Docker, I think I will Docker stop Selenium. Yeah. So let me quickly get into my. So I'm telling remote mode, and I want to this time use Selenium grid. Okay, and then I'm running my test. So we have bunch of 4 tests that needs to be run. So I am running them there. So it will not work. So I'm going to the grid console. there is nothing now. So it'll programmatically start everything, guys. So see, it's running docker hyphen compose scale chrome equal to 5. So now scaling up the chrome. You also can see it has it's scaling up the Firefox. So it already spinned up the Selenium hub. Everything it's been up and running. And if you see, grid is up and running now. The tests are running. There is 4 tests that are running in parallel now in 4 different Chrome containers. Yeah. If you go to the logs, there are 4 tests up and running. I'm just entering some random values in a Google search, and that's it. That's the fourth thing that I'm doing. And I'm shutting down all the containers now after the test execution. Uh, so it's pretty cool, right? So within few seconds, you spin up all the containers. You're shutting down all the containers after you use. Suppose if you want to use Selenium containers, okay, you can use Selenium in the remote mode, and then you can run your test ng XML. This time it'll do all the review. We can see the live previews. So it's spinning up all the Selenium containers now. I think my test got failed. No, it started, but yeah. See, if you see, the tests are started to execute, right? Executing them. Go here. Once it is executed, you can see the results there. I don't know, it's a little slow today, but yeah, it's entering the values in the Google search box. It'll take some time for it to reflect. I don't know. My test got failed due to some reasons. I don't know. I think one test got displayed here. I think I don't know why it's not running. But yeah, this is the thing, guys. So you can spin down everything and then you can spin up everything within a few seconds. Yeah, I don't know. My test got failed. So the report is coming. It's telling it got failed due to some issue with my script. It's not because of Selenium or thing. So you have all the things entered here. Yeah, it's now working absolutely fine. Yeah. In terms of yeah, Docker thing, it's working fine. There is some problem with my script that's it's not working. Yeah, that's okay. But other things are fine. Yeah. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, we can quickly cover. Thanks for being patient and to listen to me. Yeah, I was little boring in the start, I know. Yeah, but there are some hiccups as well. I don't know, for some strange reasons it's not properly working. So yeah, okay. So
And
yeah,
Amuthan, did you say the password of that VNC default password?
default password, yeah, secret. But yeah, I
Yeah,
am not a big fan of using that VNC viewer and stuff to view the execution. But yeah, they can still, I don't want to cover that. If I have covered that, I will not have time to cover Selenium. That's why
yeah,
I
no
thought
problem. So
about
just
explaining
like
everything. Yeah,
who beginner generally use the VNC, and when
yeah,
you install, it will ask you the password. The default password is secret for
yeah.
anyone
Default
who is
password
using
is
that one.
secret. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, if you want to really use a VNC viewer, yeah, you can still use the VNC viewer to export some port and use secret to access and view the test executed. Yeah.
Okay, so there was a one question from Ayappa, like, is there any environment variable settings to start working with the Docker?
No, no environment variable settings needed in your local. So you just need to have Docker desktop installed. If you are behind proxy, make sure you configure the proxy in the Docker settings. Yeah, that's the only thing you need to do. Setting proxy is very, very simple. You just need to give your company proxy and the port number. Okay, and there shouldn't be any issues. So apart from that, there is no need of configuration. That's the, yes, thing that make us to go towards Docker. So there is no extra configurations needed.
Okay, and if you can add some points, like because Docker is not completely a free tool, it has some paid version. So uh, it will be good if you can explain that one also, like in which case you can go for pro, and in which case you can go for community version.
I don't recommend the community, the paid version. I haven't explored frankly much into it. Docker is mostly, whatever we want to do in terms of test automation. Yeah, it's all open source, so there is no need for you to pay anything. So yeah, frankly speaking, I haven't explored much with the other editions of Docker. So maybe if you know, you can comment about it. But uh, for me, whatever we are using in test automation, we don't need anything more than the normal
Yes,
Docker edition.
with the respect of test automation, we don't require actually that much, like
Yeah,
using whatever open source we have, so that is more than enough. But in real time, whatever project I have worked on, so maximum
yeah,
time I have seen that that is already created or constructed by the DevOps people, and we just need to use those things. Okay,
yeah,
but for the interview perspective, they will ask some Docker commands, so you should know that thing, and obviously it will add advantage if you add this in your resume, because everyone knows Selenium Java, everyone knows, so they will ask you like what you know extra, right?
yeah.
if you
So
if you
yeah,
know some points on Kubernetes, that will also add some advantage, so I will plan a session on that also from someone, so don't worry about
yeah.
that. Okay.
Yeah, but I have explored a lot into the Kubernetes with test automation. The only thing that
Mhm.
we can achieve is auto scalability, what we can easily achieve through Selenium or Selenoid. There is something called as Selenoid, which I haven't explained. But yeah, the auto scalability is
That
something that we can use with is something that we can leverage with Kubernetes. But yeah, but in terms of test automation, we can usually simply use a scale command to scale the services and use it. That's what I would recommend. You don't have to go too much into the Kubernetes. Yeah, if you are interested, yeah, you can do that. But
And there's another question from Yash. He's asking like how many instances should we run for optimal performance? So yeah, I think you can answer.
uh, how many instances, it entirely depends upon your local configurations. But in Docker, I have used 10, maybe 10. If you have a very good scripts, we can use 10 in parallel. I would recommend, stick to 10, but not more than 10. You don't run 100, 200. It will cause some problem with your Selenium, or the containers whatever you created getting shut down. It may create some problems. Yeah, so I would recommend, restrict yourself to use a maximum of 10 Chrome or 10 Firefox, or 5 Chrome and 5 Firefox, something like that, for optimal performance.
And that even depends upon your system configuration as well.
Not since the Docker is using your local volumes for for storage. It indirectly uses your local, but it's not entirely depend on it. But yeah, it indirectly depends on some of your local things.
Okay, so any other question? I think Shania will ask. Shania, please go ahead. You can speak instead of typing.
Yeah, most Sachin here. Can I ask one question? I have a
Yeah, sure,
question.
sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Amuthan. Thanks
Hi,
for the
hi,
session.
hi, Sachin. Yeah,
It,
yeah,
it's a really nice session. So, like, where did you install this Docker? It is in your local, right? In your local
yeah,
system?
yeah, it's in my local
Okay,
system.
okay. So, I have a question like, so whenever we are installing Docker, so does it
Mhm.
asking like how much RAM it is going to utilize and how much CPU? Something like. for the
No,
performance
no, it
purpose?
will
Or
not ask you. It will just ask you whether
okay,
you want to create a Windows container or Linux containers. Just make sure you don't check that checkbox. It will default by default create Linux containers. Apart from that, it will not ask you anything. Okay, it will not ask you anything. When you are doing volume mapping to your local host, it might, Docker desktop might ask you for the access to use your local storage. Okay, when you do a volume mapping to your local storage, it might give you a notification where Docker is trying to use your local storage. Do you want to really allow it? Yeah, that time you can allow it to do the volume mapping. Apart from that, there is no extra permissions needed to run your Docker.
okay, so what is the minimum requirement? Like how much GB it should have in a system to install, and what is the RAM, minimum RAM?
4 GB,
Is there
4
any
GB RAM should be fine. Yeah, 4 GB RAM should be fine. Yeah.
okay, and can I run two and can I run multiple Chrome in one container?
Yeah, one container, no. One node, you can have multiple containers. See, again, in a particular container, you can use only one image to create that particular container. You cannot have multiple images to create the container. There cannot be multiple images inside a container, but in a node, okay, if you have a node, in terms of a Selenium node, we have Selenium hub, and then we have node. In a node, you can have multiple instances of containers, right? Chrome containers that you can do. But I will always recommend you keep everything separate, right? So don't complicate stuff. Okay, if you want to have different containers, create it as a different node, no problem. Or even if you want to do the other way around, yeah, you can do it. If you can have multiple containers linked to the same node of a Selenium hub, that's also possible. That's just one extra command in your Docker Compose file. You can explore that, guys. That shouldn't be a big deal.
Okay, thanks, Amuthan. That's from my
Yeah.
side.
So anyone have any other doubts?
Can you talk about Docker sock file?
Docker soft file? What is that?
Docker.sock.
Frankly, I know I haven't explored much into that, so maybe I really don't know about it. So if you have something, you can explain. But yeah, I didn't much explore into that.
What is it like? I also didn't hear about it. So where we use that one?
Which one?
Like the question he asked.
So he's speaking about the volume mapping. When we have something called as dot sock there. So that's what he's asking. Now frankly, I even have not thought about it, so even I haven't explored much into that. Maybe I can refer you and let you know. See, Docker is a ocean, guys. So if if you need to be an expert, even there is a certificate called Docker certified associate. Yeah, it's very very difficult to clear. And yeah, you need to explore from your side, right? It's a ocean. So uh, yeah.
Yeah, Amuthan, I have one question.
Yeah.
So we have this Docker image for Linux, right? So you can, create a container for, using the Docker image for the Linux, and you can work, I mean, inside the your Windows operating system, and you can work, on the Linux. So similar way, do we have a Windows image for, which we can use it in our Linux operating system, so that we can run that container and work on the Windows machine?
We can create Windows container. Uh, I don't know whether we use a Windows image. There is something called as Windows image for that. But yeah, we have Windows container, but people stopped using the Windows container because of its size, and there is no development from Microsoft up to that. So they're not doing pretty much research into it. Only the thing, the Linux is very very active. Development is very aggressive. They're bringing in new features every time. Okay, every Docker desktop versions, you get at least one or two, one release in a month, or at least once in 2 months. So it's very aggressive. So I would advise you always use Linux containers. So don't go for Windows containers. That's not at all used anywhere. So so stick to Linux and explore more into the Linux containers.
Even
Okay,
that is
thank
faster compared to Windows.
Yes.
but like yeah but why I asked is like if you're using Windows and if you want to use Linux also, so you can do that, if you have Windows. But like if you have Linux and if you want to use Windows, can we do that using Docker is actually what I wanted to check. Yeah.
Maybe yes, for your question, but I'm not sure. You need to explore. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, good.
Yeah, actually, Docker has a lot of concepts. So if you go in depth, right, you'll find so many things here. Like I
yeah,
think only there's so many commands only which we don't know. So because that is the always problem. Like for being a test automation engineer, we generally restrict ourselves to know more. But yeah, but learning that much also doesn't help you every time. But yeah, basic knowledge it must.
yeah. So because see, everyone start going into depth without understanding the very basics, right? So that's the problem. So if someone is asking what is in a Selenium slash hub, what is the image name, they're not able to tell that Selenium is the owner, right, of the library. So that's how is the situation now. So that's why I thought I will give some basic idea about it. Again, I know I'm not a Docker expert kind of thing, but yeah, I have explored whatever I need for TA, test automation. I know a little bit. So I thought I will share my knowledge. So there is something. There are more things, guys. There is Docker network. There is Docker network. You can go into Docker help command. So if you type Docker run hyphen hyphen help or Docker hyphen hyphen help, it will show you so many commands. There is n number of commands. You will take a lifetime to learn all of them. So yeah, I'll keep you for you to explore. If you find any use with test automation, you can definitely go and learn about it.
Yeah, thanks, Amuthan. It's
Even
really
yeah,
very helpful.
we can bring again this presentator to like discuss on a particular topic which is more important. So it was just a basic introduction. So surely we can conduct another session which will go in detail for like end to end on a like related to Selenium, whatever we see in generally real time, those type of things.
Mhm. Yeah.
So any other question? I think is it possible Internet Explorer to run test on Docker?
No, Internet Explorer, there is no images available, guys. So if you want to run your test,
We need to
you
create
have
it.
to you I'm not sure. So if someone can create it, there is a number of developers who would have created it for us. uh, Maybe if you can, you do it and contribute to the entire world, that would be great. You create a Internet Explorer image, and yeah, that would be great. But for now, there is no such thing. If you have to still rely upon your local Internet Explorer, or you can leverage browser stacks or slabs, something like that, and then you can run your test on them.
Okay, so any other question, guys?
So if you have any other question, you can mail to me. Okay, I if I know, I can directly immediately reply you. If I don't know, I know, I will refer it. There is a lot of documentation available, guys. There is so much of good articles available in medium.com. So I learned a lot of them from medium.com or Docker official docs. So you can also go and learn from them. And yeah, so you
Yeah,
can
it is
write to
better
me.
to refer official document first because Docker has
Yeah,
changed a lot, and
yeah,
everything updated thing you can find only on official document.
yeah,
Like it is same kind of thing. APM, right? APM has changed a lot. If you're referring a article which is written like 2 years back, so you'll not find the
it's wrong.
similarity. There's so many things has been
Yeah,
changed, right?
yeah.
So yeah,
APM is very,
uh,
very, very, very fast. They are changing it.
because when I started working on 3 years, and now when I practice, I see everything is changed. Every
Yeah,
command has changed.
yeah.
Okay, guys. So I think we are good now. No more questions. So thanks,
So
Amuthan. I think it must be a wonderful session for others, and others must learn and explore more on this, because giving a basic idea is the important thing, because so that people can start learning more, because many
yeah,
people are confused like from where to start. Okay, so I think it will be a good start for them, and I
yeah,
hope that we can conduct another session on some important topic related to Docker or maybe
yeah.
Kubernetes. Okay,
Uh,
fine. So we'll be closing this session now. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a
Thanks
lot.
everyone. Thanks everyone for patiently listening to me. All the best for your career. Yeah. Thanks, Amut.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot,
so
both
much.
Amod
Thank you.
and Amudan.